Alright, let's dive into something that's been buzzing in Sault Ste. Marie lately, the whole saga of electrical outages and flickering lights. Personally, I think this is one of those local issues that really captures the tension between infrastructure, accountability, and community frustration. It's not just about lights going off, it's about trust, reliability, and how we handle problems when they are not entirely within our control. So, let's break it down. Here's the hook. Imagine your power goes out for hours, or your lights flicker constantly, and the company in charge says, "Yeah, we know it's annoying, but it's not really our fault." That's essentially what's happening here. PUC, the utility provider, is pointing fingers at external suppliers, specifically Hydro One, for most of the issues. But here's where it gets interesting. What does it mean when a utility company can't guarantee consistent service because of factors outside the system? In my opinion, it raises a deeper question about the fragility of our energy networks and how much control local providers actually have. Now, let's talk about the flickering lights. There's been a ton of speculation, with many people blaming Algoma Steel's new electric arc furnaces. But here's the thing, PUC CEO, Rob Brewer, flat out says those furnaces aren't even using PUC's power right now. What makes this really interesting is how quickly rumors spread in situations like this. It's a classic case of people filling in the gaps when there's a lack of clear information. From my perspective, this highlights how important transparency is. When companies don't communicate proactively, the community starts making its own conclusions, and that's rarely a good thing. Another detail I find fascinating is Brewer's admission that 4 major outages this year were caused by mistakes on Hydro One's end. One of those mistakes? An employee error that knocked out power to the entire town. If you take a step back and think about it, this is a huge red flag. We are talking about critical infrastructure here, and one small mistake can disrupt thousands of lives. What this really suggests is that the system might be more vulnerable than we realize, and that's something we should all be concerned about. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, compensation. PUC customers are understandably frustrated, and many are asking if they'll be compensated for the outages. Brewer's response: a firm no. His reasoning is that they don't charge for energy not used, so that's the best they can do. Personally, I think this is where the conversation gets tricky. On one hand, it's true that PUC isn't directly responsible for all the issues. On the other hand, they are the face of the problem for customers, and that lack of accountability can erode trust. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just a local issue, it's part of a bigger trend of aging infrastructure and increasing demands on energy systems worldwide. Here's where I want to zoom out for a second. What's happening in Sault Ste. Marie isn't unique. Across the globe, communities are grappling with similar challenges as energy demands grow and systems struggle to keep up. In my opinion, this is a wake-up call for all of us to rethink how we manage and invest in our infrastructure. It's not just about fixing problems when they arise, it's about preventing them in the first place. One thing that immediately stands out is how much we take reliable power for granted until it's gone. So, where does this leave us? PUC is working with Hydro One to address the issues, and they've already seen some improvements. But the bigger question is whether this is enough. From my perspective, the real test will be how they handle communication moving forward. If they want to rebuild trust, they need to be more proactive, more transparent, and more accountable, even when the problems aren't entirely their fault. Closing thought, this whole situation is a reminder that infrastructure isn't just about wires and poles, it's about the people who rely on it every day. When it fails, it's not just an inconvenience, it's a disruption to lives, businesses, and communities. So, the next time your lights flicker or your power goes out, remember, it's not just about the outage. It's about the system behind it, and whether we are doing enough to make it better. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.